Welcome to Claire's Delight for Life. Hi, I'm Andrea, the sensible lady, founder, co founder, I should say, and CEO of Declare's Delight for Life. I put the sensible in sensible and help you declare the clutter in your life. And tonight I'm going to talk about how I went from 494 pounds down to 134 pounds. I know for a lot of you guys, you probably wonder how I did that. I know it's, very thought provoking to think about how somebody could have lost 360 pounds and, is still here. And I'm, 5 years plus now having stayed at this particular weight. And, I want to bring it to you, to guys, that, you know, it has to be sensible. I'm going to take you back about, say about 10 and a half years ago. I was just visiting at my doctor's office and I was 494 pounds. I got on a scale. Actually, they had to have a special scale brought in for me because I was about almost a quarter of a ton at that time. And I got on it. I had high blood pressure, diabetes up to the max. I was dying. And I was, basically, given 6 months to live at that time. And, the doctor came in to me and says, Andrea, you have two choices. You can either go out and buy yourself a coffin and you're going to need an extra, extra, extra large one, or you can do something about it. And I was given a choice. I'd been in an eating program for 20 plus years at that time. And I was given a choice going to an eating disorders program or, or really not much of a choice. I went there for 2 weeks, came back, didn't like the program, went back, finished the program, and kept at it. I was put on a sensible program of, eating, basically about 5 small meals a day. And I was eating real food, using what they call like an exchange system of foods, the four different food groups, and at that time. And even now, I do have some difficulties with one of the food groups that I've had to change. And I'll talk about that later as I go along. Tonight's going to probably be a much longer one than usual because it is quite special for me to have come down from that weight. It took me 5 years to come down from that weight. I lost 250 pounds on my own, using the weight loss program. It came down slowly over the years. And then I reached a critical point. My diabetes, I was taking 5 shots of insulin a day. Um, my blood sugars were entirely out of control. I wasn't going anywhere. And it was just really, really bad. No matter what I was doing, I was losing weight. They said my blood pressure was doing better and all that. But, excuse me, I I still wasn't doing any better. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't doing those things, they tell you to do, that make things better for yourself. I was probably still eating foods I shouldn't have, I was still going to fast food at times. I was still, eating unhealthy foods. I was still losing weight because I was so big. And, I stuck to the program in a lot of different ways. But then there's also a lot of things that I cheated on too. And I didn't take care of myself like I should. I didn't drink water like I should have. I didn't. There. How can I say it? I did not take care of myself. And for me, my body was paying the price. My mind was paying the price. I was depressed. I didn't like myself. In fact, I hated myself. If you can think of anything like that, somebody who had lost so much weight, how can they hate themselves so bad? I just didn't see myself as being a worthwhile person. I saw myself as just being nothing, just a mat on the floor for somebody. In fact, I was going through marriage, an abusive marriage at that time. Why I was trying to lose weight. I was sitting there, just sometimes just feeling sorry for myself. Like, how come I'm not going anywhere in life? Even though I'm losing all this damn weight, like they tell me to, and I'm supposed to be getting all healthy, I still wasn't doing anything. And, my mind was definitely in the gutter. And, how can I say it? I was going to my program I was supposed to be going to, and I was going to meetings, and I was doing, a lot of great stuff for myself, but none of it was working. What was going on upstairs and what was going on the scale, the two didn't connect at all. But the only thing I did have to say is that in order to really lose the weight, not just my physical weight, and also to get healthy, I also had to lose the head weight too. I had a lot of head weight. I had a lot of psychological problems, you might say. I dealt with the bipolar disorders resolved on the job entry. I dealt with a lot of unresolved issues around trauma. And, that just didn't, I wasn't doing anything about those things. And they just sat there festering like a bad disease. But the only thing I did have to say is that I finally got the gumption and got a divorce, from my abusive husband. That actually, I got rid of him. And I finally said to myself, you know what? I'm worth something. I am really worth something. But it had to be more than that. It had to say that I was more than worth something to somebody. For a whole year, I went out and I went to a group to help myself. I went out and I wasn't even looking for a relationship, but I found a relationship with a good man. Even sometimes I find it difficulties with that of having relationships with men because of all my difficulties in the past with men and being abused as a child with religious abuse. And that abuse as a child and being used at night as being a sex slave, being multiply abused on many occasions by many men every night, and my father selling me off every night was not a very nice thing. And all the abuse, all cigarette burns they would give me as a kid for the religious abuse. And just, I put up with that, for many years, from beginning years to the ends. Even as young as I was a baby, I heard I was being abused and being used as a sacrifice. And I had all that in my background. And this is not to say I feel sorry for myself, but the whole thing that came down to it is I used food. I was addicted to food. And yes, food was an addiction, just like smoking or alcohol or any number of those things. And I had to address my addiction. I even went to multiple eating disorders programs. They helped me for a short time, but the whole thing is I really had to address the root cause of who I was. I didn't get bitter or anything in what I was dealing with as far as, as far as being the weight, but it finally became so critical, and my diabetes became so critical that I came down to that very same point that I had to be given the opportunity to have what they call a gastric bypass. And it was not done for diabetes reasons. It was done for the very reason to save me and to save myself, was to get rid of my diabetes, which it did. And 2 weeks afterwards, I was able to throw away my medication. And I started, finishing losing the rest of my weight. I was on 23 medications at that time. And I also started, before that, getting some help and some therapy and seeing somebody. And that person kind of went away. And then I finally found somebody who specialized in trauma. And I started seeing that person. I still see that person for trauma. And started addressing my trauma issues over the years from when I was young and all through my adulthood. And as I addressed my trauma issues, I started taking better care of myself. I started you know, caring about myself, caring about who I was. You might say I started decluttering my life. I even decluttered myself with my family because my own family was so toxic to me. I mean, even my own family is, even recently, has, my mom has a fixation on me. She's had to try to have me arrested, or they've tried all sorts of things to get me in trouble. And even being a former corrections officer, 15 years, that that even that in my background was no help to me. That was a good job. It was a real good job, and I did it well while I did it. But outside the job, I was a mess too, and I still ate on that job as far as that was concerned. But the thing is, as I started getting help for myself and realizing my own sense of self worth and having somebody who cared and supported about me, other than me just outside myself, and who stood by me, through thick and thin. And sometimes I don't necessarily even, recognize that myself. And sometimes I get pissed off. And even today I got pissed off, with myself. And I even still get stuck in negative thinking. It is still a struggle each and every day with my own thought patterns that every day, in fact, just as recently as I was saying that I listen to positive stuff because I get what I call ringing in the ears. But because when I listen to positive stuff, I get rid of the ringing in the ears. It's partial, I think, psychological, partial physical, and partial, I deal with, blood sugar problems. But, the whole thing about this is one thing I've had to learn in all this is to be sensible about this. I know there's a whole diet industry out there that tells us that if we do such and such, or if we do this one size fits all, that we will lose weight. The only thing I have found is that you got to be sensible about it. Each person is different. Each individual is different. Even as recently, I've had to let go of milk products, and in the result of letting go of milk products, I've been able to, it have some problems that I've been having for a long time not be such a problem. I have to do some more natural things and do things like that. But I do find that I'm able to be more healthy. But thinking back to losing the last 120 pounds that I lost, it probably took me about a year to finish up. And now I've been here 5 years, and it hasn't always been a perfect weight loss. I even had a slip as recently as this summer when me and my boyfriend went through cancer, and I went through 3 hernia operations and car accidents and just a whole bunch of stuff. As life can throw things at you, and having been a food addict all my life, that sometimes you use food, but the whole thing is that I have a support network. And the one thing I do find is that having a support network is extremely important. And that's what I'm hoping to be here for you, is a support network, and to hopefully have some things come to you that I hope to come to you here soon, that are sensible, that are reasonable. They're not diets. I like the term healthy body weight, not just some ideal weight, what we're supposed to think we're supposed to weigh. I don't believe in that, because I think for far too many times that We've been determined by this factor in society that we're supposed to look like Barbie dolls. In no way, in shape, any form do I look like a Barbie doll. I am just who I am, as you can see. I have no makeup on. I have just me, and I come to you just as I am because I think it's important that folks. I like to be real to you guys, and I'm being extremely real with you guys tonight because coming down from 494 pounds down to 134 pounds to me is a big deal. And, you know, and I know a lot of you guys out there struggle with weight, whether it be 10 pounds or 400 or 500 pounds. It really doesn't matter. What matters is do you care enough about yourself? Do you really want to, you know? And I'm not here about to give you a challenge on losing so many pounds in so many days or anything else. And yeah, thank you, Francis. I'm glad you're here to join us. And as far as that's concerned, and because when people, that's why I like to call myself the sensible lady, because I like to be sensible about things. The voice says sense, I guess you might sense, in this unsensible world we live. Because we do live in an unsensible world that has so many unreal expectations of things. And I'm here to provide things that will help transform you, because I've been through a big transformation myself. And having gone through a big transformation myself, I know what it takes to transform. And I want to give this transformation to you guys too, because I think, it's extremely important that we can have transformation, because anybody can transform. And I know for a lot of folks, if you want to, it's up to you if you want to choose to. You can have guides that will provide assistance to you. And I appreciate that, Francis. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Because for so many too long, you know, everybody's worth something. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. Because you know what? At one time, I thought I was a piece of garbage. Think about it. I thought nobody cared about me. I thought nobody loved me. All I thought was that, somebody wanted to use me, and that's all somebody thought of me. And you know what? People don't have to think they have to be used. And when you think, when people think you're going to be used, I think it's a disservice. And I think folks need to realize that no matter who you are, that you don't have to be used. And I think the diet industry, and I'm going to go out on them on this, uses folks. I don't want to use you guys, because you know what? I've been used myself, and I've been sold a big bill of goods. And I don't want to sell you a bill of goods. What I want to sell is sensible. Because you know what? What fits one person doesn't necessarily fit everybody else. But the one thing I do hope to do is provide guidance, show you ways that can give you a better life, give you ways that maybe, could help you, and give you a way that is sensible. Like I said, the sensible lady. Because even though I am 54 and I'm going to be 55, I still love stuffed animals. I still have a beagle that I love. I still have a lot of great things in life that I love. And because I love these different things, and I do care about myself, and yeah, I speak negatively of myself and that. And I'm going to be going on a trip later this month, and For me, sometimes some of the exciting stuff is sitting in an airline seat and realizing I have extra room left. To me, some folks, that was, I took up 2 airline seats when I went to the eating disorders program, but now I have plenty of room. When somebody sits next to me who's big, it's really a big deal. But I guess, when it comes down to it, you really have to learn to love yourself. If you can't love yourself, who can love you? I can't love you. You have to love yourself. And, if you can love yourself, you can do all sorts of great things. And, even today, sometimes I don't feel like I love myself. But the one thing I do realize is I do love myself. I may not be a perfect person, and I will never be a perfect person. Because if I was perfect, then, I don't think I'd be coming to you and being this real to you guys. Because, having, come from 494 down to 134, you just don't lose weight. Weight to me is a number on a scale. Because we are all more than scales. That's all they are. It's just scales with numbers on them. We're people. We're all people. And that's right. We are people with thoughts and feelings and beliefs. And we may have different beliefs, but I all feel like that we can all get together if we can have respect and dignity for one another and have love and compassion for one another. And to me, that's a biggie. And I don't know, and coming to you with this is that I want this to be from my heart to your heart, because I firmly believe that life is way too short. I'm 54 years old, I, I've got a lot of years left. I firmly believe that. I gained a lot of years of my life back. Yeah, I still have health challenges. I'll be honest, I deal with pain in my knees from a bad knee operation, and I deal with that every day. And yeah, I deal with issues and ringing in my ears and neck and back problems, and a lot of residual effects from having been so fat. Yeah, I'm going to use the word fat. Yes, I was fat. And to say anything else more, I'm not going to be derogatory, but these are things I have to live with because of what was before, but they are not my present moment. And they don't have to be your present moment either, but life can get better. And I just want to let you guys to know that life can get better. And I'm here to help you to the best of my ability. And with that, I wish you a great Declares Delight for life. Have hope, have peace, and tranquility, and love and compassion. And let there be light in your life. Because you know what? Life is too short. And blessings to you all.